Good afternoon, Speed Gaming, and welcome to some more round of 16 action in the 2022 Link to the Past main tournament. Today we have P-Train versus Teto. P-Train with a 1-0 lead, and Teto looking to win this game so he can force a game 3. My name is Tracy M. With me today is Ajder. How you doing, Ajder?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. We have Ambrosia today, which means we got a little time to explain things because we do get a standard start, some boots, a boots hint, and a few other things. You want to talk a little bit more about what Ambrosia has to offer?
Yeah. So another thing it has is guaranteed item on the boss, so it won't be map or compass or key. So that makes it kind of interesting in how you're going to approach dungeons, especially if you can't beat them right away. So the 2-item dungeons like Skullwoods and Mire, there's only one item that's not on the boss. So you have to be aware of that when you're going in.
And we've got Ice Palace boots, so it's gonna be a little while before we get to those, and and as often happens, will Ice Palace actually be a crystal? Because we see a lot of these where the boots are in a non-crystal dungeon.
Yeah. There's sometimes some weird metagaming in Ambrosia with the boots hint. No, you've got green pendant, desert, and I think it was blue pendant here, and a crystal eastern.
Now, good news about that is there's only now a 1 in 7 shot at Ice Palace being the 3rd pendant, but the game, tends to know these things, so makes no promises. I got a boomerang.
It's weird. I think there's a lot of situations where even if Ice Palace is a pendant, you go in there for the boots anyways.
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. And of course you might be required, but with Desert a pendant, a little less likely.
Oh, so, yeah, desert pendant. It is green pendant, so it's a little bit more pivotal than normal. But yeah, desert pendant. The way you approach desert could be weird in Ambrosia as well, because it's about a 50% chance to be boots locked.
All right, we did find bombs somewhere. I didn't see where we got those, but
yeah, the bombs were on Uncle.
Ah, okay, yeah.
So we don't have to worry about farming bombs for back of escape.
Yeah, we do get a boomerang. We could check the sun prize. Maybe it's money or more bombs. But 3 is a really good, good start. We can definitely do the back. Leaves us 2 for Kakariko. Chances are we'll find more once we get into Kakariko.
Yeah, P-Train executing a little bit better so far. I actually feel like some of Teto's lines that he's taking are more for like the paddings you'd see in a casual boots start.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like some of these, especially when you have a standard start with a sword, can give, if you have an NMG runner versus someone that doesn't run NMG, there can be a nice little advantage given to that player. Early gloves is nice.
Yeah, we got the other thing that makes you not have to worry about farming bombs. Alright, P-Train going for the 8/. This could be kind of scary. Teto's going to use a pot, which does half of the damage. 4 out of the 8/s are covered. Oh, he's going to go double pot. This is really safe.
And we get a Master Sword, so already 2 swords. Haven't seen a lamp yet. Of course, we do have 1 item for Dark World Axis in terms of that glove. Missing a hammer or a second glove to get in. Of course, missing a Moon Pearl. But I do find that when you have a starting sword, I mean, I have no data to back this up, but it sure does feel like, since you already have that 1 piece of the Aga puzzle to start off with, it's a little bit more likely that you end up with an Aga seed.
Yeah, I haven't seen data, but I wouldn't be surprised.
So this next check is going to be a small key, because otherwise we can't get to the back. So it won't be till we get to the back before we see anything new.
So the game 1 between these two is boss shuffle, MC boss shuffle, and I didn't catch all of it, but from what I caught of it, it seemed like Teto is getting more of the unfortunate double dips from not having the ability to kill the boss of the dungeon he went into.
Yeah, that can be problematic. You know, those boss shuffle races where you don't have a hook shot, don't have a fire rod, don't have an ice rod, often get you in those exact situations.
Yeah, there's some nasty stuff in that. There was a fighter sword cold stare in Eastern that P-Train attempted. I think Teto didn't have bombs when he went in. P-Train actually attempted that fight and died. There was a Vidi and Hera that they both had fighter sword only for, plus a bow.
That's pretty rough.
It's going to be a lot more comfy for them having this Master Sword and actually knowing what bosses are going to be where this time.
And of course, the item on the boss, Teto already saying in the race time chat that he's probably going to forget about the item for the boss, item on the boss, so hopefully that's not true. Okay, let's see what we got here in the back. Money is good. More money. And more money. I mean, we don't really need that much money, but at least we don't have to worry about anything in terms of Kakariko. We'll be able to pay for bottle vendor with no problem. If we need to buy bombs, we have plenty of money for that.
More money, and even more money.
Yeah, we're close to Zora money, but we're gonna spend $100 on bottle vendor. So
it was actually kind of funny. Like P-Train kind of not really hesitated, but kind of fumbled on picking up that third chest, and it was almost like he didn't want to because it seemed like he already knew there was more money in it. It's like, I've got enough. I don't need that.
And final item, just a piece of art. And with all these resources, we're just going to head straight to the Lost Woods. Not going to do the lumberjack check. Because typically you would do that, runners that do that early will typically do that to give them the excuse to do tree pulls, check the bush crab. But our resources are pretty good right now. Don't really need to necessarily check those.
Yeah, they have a better chance of being good in a standard world state rather than open anyways.
And more money.
You've also already got a bunch of kills ready for your tier 2 tree pull here without having to detour for anything. Which is going to be 10 arrows today.
Oh, that's important. Nice moon pearl sitting there in the wild.
Okay, so we're a hammer or a lamp from Dark World Access.
Or a second glove.
Right.
Oh, Petrie looks like he's going to go do the lumberjack check. I wonder if he's going to head straight to the mountain right now.
Oh, yeah, that is an interesting way to route this. I don't see too many people do it, but I have seen it before. Oh, that's a Samaria.
Yeah, well, this is an Agaseed. I mean, no, this is absolutely an Agaseed, because there's only one pendant in the Dark World, and so they can't be both Mire and Turtle Rock.
That's also guaranteed bits required, so you have to go to Ice Palace without the cane, mind you. It's actually really, really good knowing that you have to make that play.
Yeah, so, absolutely.
Like, Seed might seem gross, but oh, okay, Teto's got a hammer doing cack right away in like P-Train.
Well, this is interesting because Teto didn't check, hasn't checked Lumberjack. He really hasn't had a chance to. In fact, might not until he actually gets those boots at this rate. So it's going to be a while before he knows that Canis Samaria is there.
Yeah, if you put off Lumberjack, like it's somewhat common to put off Lumberjack until you actually have boots, so you know whether it's going to be relevant or not. With boots in Ice Palace, knowing boots are in Ice Palace, I mean, as long as it's a pendant, they might be okay. But yeah, there is a tendency for runners to put off Ice Palace without having the Canis Samaria, just because it makes clearing it so much more efficient.
I wonder if P-Train is going to, depending on what's in Spectral Rock, but he could jump into the Dark World right now and find out whether ice is a pendant or a crystal. I think it would be pretty valuable knowledge right away.
Well, I've got a bow in the well.
And an ice rod. I mean, I think you gotta grab that. Your odds are pretty good. You're gonna need it.
Bottle from
Nice.
Bottle Vendor with the
Yeah,
bonus fairy.
nice fairy to ruin all our death warps. So the situation right now, Peachrain's not going to miss all this Kakariko stuff that Tato's picking up. Tato's not going to miss that Ice Rod. It's pretty free. But that Cane of Samaria, it might be a while before he sees it. And the tendency now, ever since Icebreaker became a thing, is to put off Ice Palace until you have a Cane of Samaria. I mean, he might not put it off as much just because that boots hint. But it's going to be interesting to see at what point he finds out about that. It could be a while. And it could be a big factor in this race. Like if I'm P-Train, once I get a lamp or even a fire rod, I might just go do ag. Although I might wait for the boots too, depending. Of course, with the boots in such a bad spot, you know.
Yeah, there's also the matter of when we're actually going to get access to Ice Palace.
Yep. Still need a few things for that.
Okay, so Teto walking back up with his Dark World access and just going to go in right away without. I don't think I saw him go down and check race game. I'm not sure.
No, I don't think he did. I like this better early with a mirror. Because then you can just get all the Light World stuff at the same time. I don't know if he really wants to do 3-heart Thieves Town right now, but I mean, that is an option.
The Master Sword makes it a little less bad because you've got some nice range on that sword. Pod Pendant and Thieves Town and Swamp are the red crystals. So at least Ice isn't a pendant. I think the decision to go there would be really difficult if it was.
Mm-hmm.
Or the decision to go there on time, at least.
Just a heart container at the chess game.
The bow they found is pretty interesting too, because they can just straight up do a lot of like the normal early game stuff, like Eastern can be done mostly without penalty. There's Pendant Pod, which is going to make that decision interesting.
Oh, nice free half magic in the Sea House.
And for Ice Palace, they still need to find Mitts and either Bombos or Fire Rod.
Yeah, I don't think you don't wait for flippers on Ice Palace in this situation, knowing what's in there. But we will need flippers because we do have to do Swamp Palace.
Oh, Teto's up to 5 hearts now. Must have gotten 2 of them in the Dark World already.
Yeah, we saw one at the chess game. The other one maybe was Bombos. Sorry, not Bombo Hut, not Bombos. We'll see if P-Train decides to jump right into the Dark World here as well. Looks like no, he's going to at least do the race game check, the library check. I think that was a shield. We're never coming back for that.
Alright, Teto gotta continue in Thieves Town. Yeah, it has the ferry, actually. So this is actually fairly safe, considering.
Yeah, he should be fine.
He's getting your heart pot.
That's the one. Yeah, it's the one I pick up. Not a lot of people pick that one up.
It's probably warranted in this situation. He also used the boomerang to try and get the double heal. Oh, he's got a
nice.
And that pot feels kind of gross to get without boots, I think.
It's pretty slow. So this is interesting. P-Train going straight to Mini Moldorm, which usually implies that a runner will go and do a dam into Aegina after this.
Yeah, a lot of times that's predicated by having the book and having a solid plan to go into desert already, but we don't have the book here, so it's interesting to see that. I don't know how many runners do stuff like this without the book in tow. It probably happens more than I think.
There's a nice mirror and a fire rod for P-Train. And a hook shot.
And a
Oh
hook
my.
shot, wow. We've got a
That's
loaded spear one here.
That's a lot of good stuff right there for P-Train. That mirror will just make his Dark World checks a lot better.
Yeah, I used to really like this. Okay, yeah, he's gonna go back left. Ignore Ice Rod Cave for now. Yeah, I used to like this like instant Dark World dip that Teto's doing, but I kind of realized it's fairly slow to walk all the way to the portal from that point. And there's a lot of things in Sphere 1 that could make this trip faster. Like Mirror is good to combine with a lot of things. There's Bombus in the dam. Yeah, he has both the things to get into Ice Palace once we have Mitts.
And not a whole lot at the dam. This could be just a route up to Dark World. Yeah, he's not. Yeah, P-Train's not even a bother with. This isn't Agena. This is I'm gonna go from the dam to the Dark World and hit Hype Cave right away.
Okay,
Kinda
that's
like
interesting.
that.
It's weird to me because you can mostly accomplish the same thing with the save and quit at the end of whatever path you choose.
Yeah, it's true.
But yeah, I don't know. Maybe hadn't. I don't know if he hadn't completely made his mind up. Maybe the mirror influenced his decision on what exactly to do here.
Yeah, that could be as well. Because he could go. Because what he could do is he could go to the west and clear out. There's 3 checks he can do over there, and then he can mirror and then walk into the Dark World from there. Not a very hype cave. Did not live up.
Hype Cave was in the light world this time.
Yeah, that mini Moldarm cave was quite hype.
Alright, so first crystal on Tito's side at 15 minutes. Oh yeah, speaking of, he had a pretty incredible run in the Open Plus ladder invitational, and I think it was the round of 8. Yeah, he went through on the round of 8 and had some crazy fast times. He even got a 51-minute Open Plus time in one of those.
Yeah, I mean, as I said to him in an interview, if you can beat Eri when Eri sub 1s, that doesn't happen very often. So it was a pretty impressive. Yeah, it was a very impressive run.
Yeah, he's had some pretty good tournament success lately.
It's like our runners are going to hit the dig game at about the same time.
Yeah, was that different directions?
Yeah, completely different directions. Don't see that every day.
I mean, they're both doing digging game. That's also surprising. Nobody does dig game anymore. It's like the new meta to skip it if you're against a scary opponent.
As you should know from experience. We do get a bottle out of this, so an extra safety, but not really what we're looking for. So Teto is going to miss K45. There was nothing significant in there. The only significance of this is that he might check it later with the mirror, and we'll lose time to checking a little bit less efficiently. But then again, he might skip it, in which case he comes out a little bit ahead.
It's too bad he's in the Dark World here and he can't like mirror to.
Yeah.
Many more to get the mirror.
Yep. No, P-Train, you don't have mitts yet.
There's some weird situations too, like when you do an early Dark World like this, where you can be like, if I get enough good stuff early on, could I just like skip South Shore entirely, or like do it 40 minutes in and it be more efficient that way?
Pretty rare that actually works out, but you know, it does happen on occasion.
Missed a chest. I think he was trying to test chest turn or something and missed it. Yeah, P-Train gonna retrace a lot of the steps, mostly the Thieves Town steps. Is probably gonna get to route north into Skullwoods and use that mirror for a Great Ledge afterwards.
Yeah, this works out really nice because he can do all this Village Outcast stuff, and then he could do, Graveyard Ledge, and then work his way back over to Skullwoods and kind of end his route there.
Teto's walking to the pyramid. I guess he's trying to do this whole loop. I'm curious if he's going to walk to Catfish from here, or if he's going to go to Pod, because they can... Well, Pod's a pendant, so probably not going to pull the trigger on that right now.
They're both really bad, like Pendant Pod, but it is 5 items. Catfish, just super out of the way.
Yeah. I guess the good thing about Catfish right now is that he knows that boots are going to be quite a bit later because they're locked by a bunch of stuff that he doesn't have. So it feels okay to get this out of the way without boots more than it usually would. It is good to kind of get this check out of the way and not have to worry about it later. It could really swing the outcome of a lot of races.
Yeah, Catfish is one of those locations that if there's something there and you skip it, it can really hurt you quite a bit.
Like if you're just unlucky enough to get enough progression that lets you do a bunch of better things earlier in the game, and you'd miss the one thing that's here.
Let's see what we got here. No mirror, so can't combine this at all with Zora. Just bombs.
Yeah, so we know where Samaria is. We have Ice Rod. We know where the boots are. There's not too many of the like classically trolly, really hard to find like game items. Mostly medallions left, I think, that we don't know about.
Flippers and flute.
Those can sometimes be bad.
Yeah, but flippers. Let me think. So boots are behind Kane. No, sorry, Kane is behind flippers. So we're not going to find flippers in Turtle Rock. And we could find flute there. So there's a little bit of extra with Ice Palace being the boots. We're not gonna find our flippers at boots checks in general.
Yeah, Turtle Rock is not going to be very scary because of a pretty easy Ice Rod and Fire Rod location.
Yeah.
So like there becomes seeds where it's just pretty free to have required items be in Turtle Rock, and then some seeds where it's very scary.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Teto gonna get his haul over here in Mini Moldor Cave.
Yeah, this was Mirror and Fire Rod and Hookshot, I think.
Yeah. Yep. Might send him up to Death Mountain. He hasn't been there at all yet. It'd be his one opportunity to check Lumberjack as well, so we'll be interested to see if he does that. Check it before he gets boots anyway.
I feel like this is his best remaining play on the table right now.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, you could walk back to Skullwoods and beat it, but there's some items that make it faster to do later.
All right, now I'm assuming that P-Train's been counting his items because he skipped that chest, and knowing that the last item will be on the boss. He's figured out that there's something there.
Oh, Teto's gonna go into Dark World. Yeah, maybe he can do Skullwoods right now. Yeah, could route Skullwoods into... I actually didn't think he'd be getting to Skulls before P-Train did, but looks like that's probably what's happening. So you can use the mirror to... You can get Graveyard Ledge, and then mirror into the front of Death Mountain from the Bumper Cave check.
Okay, blind down for P-Train. I think we just had a lot of health in Thieves Town. Skullwoods is probably the dungeon that I hate the most in Ambrosia. I've talked about this before. You've got your guaranteed item on the boss, and then you have 7 other checks in 3 different areas that are going to have one item that you have to search out.
It either sucks a lot or it's like really free. So
Yeah.
sometimes you just make the item right away and you don't have to worry about the rest of it. So I like, in this context, I like this play of going right to the back here.
I do
we're
too.
going to check the big key chest because we're passing it by. But if he just happens to get the one like non-boss guaranteed item in the back, then he doesn't have to worry about the rest of the front. He's making a plan to walk back out the front anyways. Well, actually, with the mirror, you can just mirror share and then like go back to the Kakariko portal. That's faster in a lot of situations. I'm not sure it's faster if you still want to check the front of Skullwoods, but that's an option too.
Like P-Train's going to do the same thing.
Yeah, but like Teto is definitely intending to walk out of here no matter what to go Graveyard Ledge and mirror into the front of Mountain.
Okay, the second item is somewhere amongst those front, what is it, 5 checks? No, 4. 4 checks in the front.
Oh, did he check the bridge item?
Yeah, it was a key.
Okay, well, those had to be somewhere.
I mean, 3 keys in Skullwoods. For doors that you never, for the most part, never, ever, ever want to open. I always felt like Skullwoods was this dungeon with some really great concepts that just didn't do well in applying them.
Yeah, like you don't actually really have to go very many places in it. This is actually why you play ROM hacks, though, because it makes Skullwoods an absolute mess. You have to basically do everything. That's really confusing. Nice moth fight. That was really fast. Good use of Fire Rod to kind of get hits in where sword swipes might have hit spikes instead.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of using the Fire Rod on the moth fight if you're, not tempered sword or, slightly under-equipped.
Yeah, half magic means you can just kind of go crazy with it.
Yeah, 8 shots will do it, so.
But he didn't really look like he went crazy with it. He looks like he was doing
you do
shots
both.
very, like, methodically.
Yep, absolutely.
What I like doing at the start of the moth fight is actually, I think B-Train's gonna get a good one too. Oh, that fire rod actually hit, wow. The top left one.
Yeah.
But yeah, so one thing that you can do is, when you drop into the arena, you can, like if you're doing a Master Sword fight where you want to get a spin-off, you can slash 3 times and then release spin right away, and that's the right timing to get the first spin off as soon as possible.
It looks like Teto found the second item. I didn't see what it was, but I'm guessing I didn't see anyone go nuts, so probably not something super significant.
Oh yeah, it was probably a junk item that I just filtered out. Yeah, so this is Graveyard Ledge. I expect both runners to route this in the way that they're deciding to do this. So P-Train has knowledge of Samaria on Lumberjack, which is really interesting because we know that the boots are in Ice Palace, and we don't have mitts to access Ice Palace yet.
Oh, there it is, 20 rupees.
It's possible Teto actually evens up that knowledge gap right now if he decides to. Because what he's going to do here is he's going to walk to the bumper cave, do that check, and then mirror into the mountain entrance. And if he decides to check Lumberjack at that point, then it'll even up the knowledge disparity. So he'll also know that
that's his best time. Like, he doesn't check it now. He's not checking it until he has boots.
Right.
And P-Train, since he's already got the Death Mountain save and quit spot, can just check the bumper ledge and then head over, and he'll be able to save and quit out of
Yeah, this is
Scraper ledge,
definitely
which is better.
This is definitely the lumberjack check going north the screen.
This is really good for Teto. I don't know when. Yeah, this would be a really hard thing to come back to if you don't know it's here. And of course, none of the Death Mountain stuff in Logic yet. No flute, no lamp. I always like to find one of those things on Death Mountain when I do this play, because it kind of gives you an idea of where the other one is. Especially if it's a lamp. If you find a lamp on the mountain, it kind of limits. It does a little bit of limiting as far as where that flute can be, and the flute's the important item. On the other hand, if you find flute here, then and you have a fire rod that maybe you just don't even bother ever worrying. You don't really worry about that lamp. With fire rod, an Aga play is, fire rod Aga is pretty safe. Peachtree not going to the mountain though. Looks like maybe he's gonna do Eastern Palace.
Oh yeah, I totally thought he was. Well, yeah, P-Trade already has the save and quit point, so it doesn't make sense for him to run mountain yet. But he could have just save and quit there and done hookshot checks. But yeah, it wasn't a given he was going to go straight there from his route, whereas it was kind of a given for Teto.
Yep.
That's his best chance.
Yeah, and again, with Hera being a pendant, it's a little less value. And Eastern, of course, is a crystal, so you want to, always be clearing crystal dungeons. If that's the way you play, and it's, I'm a big fan of that. So P-Train gonna do Eastern, has to do it regardless. And then if Eastern doesn't give him anything useful, he can go ahead and save and quit to the mountain after he's done with that. And since Pod is a pendant, there's really not as much value of combining the two together.
Yeah. Although, if you want to be risky, you just make the play of combining the two anyways, and then your opponent probably doesn't get that time save. But then that just completely hinges on whether Pod actually has something.
I mean, Pod only has to have one thing for it to be, for that to be a good play, but, Pod could be completely empty too.
Yeah. Just also the weird thing of, you can actually get burned by doing a pendant dungeon at the wrong time, even if it does have something, because it could have a required item very early in it.
Yeah.
It could also, you're clearing the rest for nothing, whereas it's your opponent's go mode. You could also get an item that opens up a bunch of stuff that, you can get flute and have that open up a bunch of checks that you wouldn't be doing otherwise. If that's not your go mode. Although getting flute earlier generally is going to save time anyways. It's not the best example, but... I didn't see basement cage. We have
I see a small key. So yeah, I see a small key. I don't know if we saw an item or not. Harapot can be super safe in this scenario if you do get an item in one of those first two checks, because the other one's on the boss. You don't have to worry at all about the item in the big chest.
Yeah, and in that case, you don't fall down here. So, oh yeah, okay. So he's falling down to where the big chest is. So he must have gotten the big key. So he's just doing Harapot for speed. Nice compass and map. That guarantees the item in the basement, I believe.
Yep. Yeah, and it is a pendant, so, there doesn't... do you go back into the basement here? I don't know that you do.
Oh yeah, it is a pendant. I
mean, I'm surprised he's doing this first. He could route the hookshot checks first, and then if you don't get what you're looking for in East Death Mountain, you can walk back over here, or even just save and quit to the spot, the old man, and then come back here and try and find your progression here.
Yeah, it was probably just a quick little pop-in to decide what the value of staying in here was. Because if you just get a small key, then that kind of sucks. And you can still Harapot, but you're leaving something behind in the big chest potentially, and it's not as high value to stay here, so it might have been conditional on which keys were in front.
Isn't gonna do the basement.
Yeah, there's lots of other stuff open still, so it's not too scary to leave that right now. Actually, I don't think we've seen Ice Rod Cave from either runner at this point.
No, we've not. Okay, nothing on Floating Island today. I don't think we've gotten anything out of Eastern either. But we will get a crystal out of it, and one more item on the boss here. Piece of Heart at Spiral Cave. Be interesting to see if he routes Spike Cave in at the end of this. Not really in logic because we don't have a cape or a cane, but if he has full health and a fairy, that actually, not too bad. What did he get there?
We got a buck on Armus.
Ooh, that's not what you want to see. Well, at least for P-Train, he'll be able to check Ether Tablet when he's up there on the mountain. That might be where his next stop is.
Yeah, that might work out for him. We've got Bombus, which is a Bombus Tablet, rather, which is not really that on the way. I guess you can route it into Desert walking there, but then you go into Desert without the boots as well, and that's... Oh, there was a game, I honestly don't remember who was playing it. It might have even been a... No, it was... I think it was one of Matt's matches, I think, that had Shovel in Boots Locked Desert, which led to Mitts, which led to Boots in Ice Palace, I think? Am I seeing the same race again, actually? Yeah, that's a thing that happened. It was pretty gross. You just had to make that kind of blind faith play into Desert, knowing you couldn't beat it.
Yeah, we're gonna see some fake flipper action over here from Teto. Got a very nice splash delete.
Oh yeah, chat's pointing out the book is Lamplock. Wait, is it? Where is Eastern Big Key?
Yeah, good question. Where was Eastern Big Key?
It might have been Vanilla.
Was it Vanilla? Okay, chat saying Vanilla. In fact, our tracker, Derek, who I always like to trust our trackers, the MVPs of our tournaments. Yeah, so that would be lamp locked.
Yeah, so Teto splash deleting to get to Hobo from this pier up here.
Yeah, I think that's a little bit faster when you don't have boots or flute to get it over to the kind of the standard place to do fake flippers.
Yeah, if you've already kind of given up your routing potential getting to that spot anyways. This play, I think, is to cover in Logic Zora.
Yeah, you don't want to just walk over here just for Zora. You can get 4 items out of Logic, or you can get 1 item in Logic and see a second. But it's just a whole lot of money. So yeah, if you didn't have enough money for Zora going in, you're probably gonna have enough after that check. Ether Tablet, just a piece of heart, so that Book only gonna hurt Teto if he comes back up here specifically for that Ether Tablet. We'll see what P-Train decides on his Hera play.
Yeah, so the nice thing, I guess, about Teto not having a book up there is that leaves 1 extra breadcrumb for him to go back up there if we need to go to Hera Basement.
Now, it's maybe a little bit more likely that P-Train makes the play to the basement just because, in his case, he's already done East Death Mountain.
Oh, has he?
Yeah, he came over from that side.
Oh.
Again, not a whole lot over there. I didn't really pay good attention to everything that was over there, but it wasn't much.
Where is Teto doing Aga now?
He's just doing Aga now. I don't really like this. You're gonna get the boots, and you're gonna be able to do this much faster later, and possibly with a better sword, just a better loadout in general. I'm not sure what this gets him without the boots to pick up the Canis Maria.
Yeah, the most I can see is like buying time to think. But yeah, I think some people in chat are talking about the pod play right now. It's looking a bit better.
Yeah, and you know he's got Eastern to clear as well.
Oh
so.
yeah.
So I definitely. I mean, I could see maybe you do this before pod, but I would think I think you would do the Crystal Dungeon that you could clear before you would do this play.
Part of this is also like it gets you into Dark World, and knocks the thing you have to do off your list, and you can walk to pod from here and set up the pod Eastern combo.
Yeah, could do that.
Because he's done more of the game than P-Train had done before Eastern, so for him there's a higher chance that pod has something, so you can kind of pre-commit to that. We don't know anything about Desert, actually.
I mean, it's a pendant, so they're not exactly rushing to go there.
Yeah, boots are in Ice Palace via the Ambrosia hint.
But yeah, I mean, again, Fire Rod Aga, not too bad. I mean, I could. There's no way I'm waiting for a lamp to do this if that's the difference. If I have a Fire Rod,
I forgot he didn't have lamp. Where's P-Train gonna go now? Where do you
really
get
good question.
Pod? Where else does he have left?
Pod or Desert?
Catfish, I think.
Yeah, Pyramid Catfish Pod.
Desert, yeah, Desert is a.
We could do Bombos into Desert.
It's got the hammer out, so yeah. Oh yeah, it could be Bombos Desert. Yeah, this looks like Bombos into Desert.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, his thought process may be that, you know what, if I can clear Desert and get that green pendant, I've already got another pendant, then I can turn that green pendant in on the way to pod, and maybe it's something.
Oh, yeah, that's a good call, I think. Desert could be entirely clearable right now, we just don't know.
You know, and if this is a boots lock Desert, then you probably never have to worry about it. Because the boots are just behind a lot of things right now.
Yeah, they're pretty late. Yeah, that's a good point.
I think flute or a medallion is about the only thing that would be possible in Desert or on the green pendant if it's boots locked.
We're still missing flippers to get into swamp, so that's not an option yet. I completely expect them to fake flipper into ice once given the opportunity, though.
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. Find them beforehand, great. If you don't, then you're just going anyway.
Yeah, I think that was the first Agena check we had, though.
Yep.
There's nothing, but still, first runner in the area.
Just a piece of heart in the ledge.
I forgot to count blue balls, but it feels like
somebody in chat will.
Feels like at least 4 so far. Oh, maybe no. I think that was 3 actually.
That's pretty usual. Okay, so far not boots locked. Get the small key, which gives us 2 more chests to open up over here. Map. Got 1 more chest to open up over here. This is a real feels bad if you get map compass. Oh, there's the big key. We are not boots locked at all.
Oh. The one item could still be on the torch.
It could, but we'll get to see it, and we'll know if we need it or not.
Yeah, if we don't need it, then it's like you might as well have it.
And you check it, so you know what, yeah, it's just a heart container. So nothing in the big chest, and P-Train can just skip that.
Oh, that does make it better, actually, for it to be on the torch.
Yeah, as long as it's not something you want, yeah, I agree.
So we have green pendant available. That's really interesting. I kind of didn't count on that being in play. It kind of sucks this way. Like, you just never know. If you don't have flute, it sucks to get over here.
Yeah. We're a lamp away from Ped being fully in logic, too.
Yeah, so Teto is setting up the pod play, but is going to do Crystal Eastern first. That's much safer.
Yeah, because if you get something in Eastern, then you maybe can just skip pod. If you found Mitts here, you just leave. You don't bother with pod. He's not going to find Mitts here. He's going to find nothing.
He's going to find the book.
Go back to pod. Yeah, he'll find the book, but you're not going to follow the book from Eastern. That doesn't open enough to leave the pod play. Like Mitts would open enough to leave the pod play.
It definitely makes you feel worse, though, I think.
Yeah.
Like, you'd rather find nothing here than find the book.
Yeah, the book is one of those items that if I'm going to get it at all, I want to get it early. Like, really early.
It's like, even early, it brings a kind of bad desert decision into play sometimes.
Yep. Well, silvers is nice. Not what we're looking for.
Yeah, with the first bow being completely free, the second bow location doesn't really give any big special advantage.
Yeah, and the silvers are not going to save the time that it will have taken P-Train to do this check. So, unless the green pendant is something or Ped is something, I mean, you're happy at least you got something out of that, but you're not happy that that's all you got out of it.
Yeah. Your opponent maybe misses that, but yeah, it's not a net gain. I don't remember if we found the net or not, anyways. So yeah, P-Train, I think, is making the pod play into, or rather, green pendant turn into pod play.
And we were kind of down to green pendant or pod. I also expect we're going to find a lamp or a flute in pod, or on this green pendant turn-in.
Right. Well, it won't be on the green pendant because we discussed before that Eastern...
Oh, the book was on. Yeah, the book was on almost.
Blocked.
Right.
Well, it could be if Mitts is the way to get in there, but that required Mitts and flute to show up. That would be really weird. Like, it would mean we're totally not on the correct chain here. So it's still technically possible for Lamp to show up here, but it means we did something wrong.
Yeah.
Nice one quick swap arrow into the wall before mirroring.
Okay, not green pendant.
Yeah, that feels kind of bad.
Yeah. Now if you're P-Train, you kind of want it to just be Ped.
Yeah, you want your investment to be worth something.
And there's still Hera Basement sitting out there.
P-Train gonna get into pod before Teto, though.
Yep.
It's kind of interesting seeing them trade places where it's like... It's very obvious that one runner's route is going to take them somewhere. And yet, the other runner, for whom it was less obvious, ends up getting there first.
And of course, the big question is, do you leave pod if you find something? I guess it depends on what you find, but that is definitely something that P-Train needs to be thinking about.
Yeah, I mean, Teto hasn't made any really big time sink plays like that yet, so he can kind of more afford to stay in.
And of course, P-Train, with 2 pendants already, is going to be a little bit more invested, possibly, of finishing this dungeon. Well, I mean, it is an item, because it is Ambrosia, guaranteed item on the boss, but it also gives him the extra, gets him that ped check.
Oh, that's right, yeah. so he might want to beat this rather than skip things.
And to answer chat, no, we have no idea what's on Ped because we did not have a book when we were over there the first time. We're gonna have 2 small keys. Well, we might have 2 small keys here. This was a completely bow-locked dungeon. I think it was a map on the first chest.
Alright, Teto just about a minute behind going in here.
So P-Train just gonna go ahead and do the big key chest, but you know, because there are 2 keys on the right side, what he could do is skip these 2, and if he gets a non-small key on the bridge chest, he could just ignore these and do a hammer jump to avoid the one door and save a little bit of time. And
yeah, I kind of like doing that play myself.
I do too. I wouldn't have been able to avoid that if you, because you definitely want to get that big key. But if he had fallen and gotten, if he had gotten the small key on the bridge chest, you could choose to fall down and hope that was not the small key, and guaranteeing the small key in the big key chest. This has to be a small key at this point. Always 4 small keys in the front.
He's done 2 pendants and not just 1. That's right. So this will actually give him Ped. So I really do expect Lamp to show up really soon. Maybe Lamp's an Ice Rod Cave.
Yeah, we have not seen Ice Rod Cave. That is true. If it's in Ice Rod Cave, we probably will never see it.
Yeah, there wasn't.
There's the flippers.
Okay. There's flippers. That is.
But that doesn't. Does that open anything? I mean, it opens swamp. Yeah, it opens swamp.
Yeah, swamp's pretty good for items. Yeah, that's probably just the way forward. Because yeah, the fire rod does put this in logic since you can light the torches.
P-Train gonna go ahead and do the hammer jump anyway, even though he has all the small keys to not really have to worry about it. He might be one of those players that just prefers to do this dark room from the back. Some players find it easier to do it from the back. I don't find it too different. I find they're both pretty equal for me, but
I do find it easier from the back myself. It's kind of more in like the harder corners to navigate, I think, are more near the top.
Mm-hmm. Okay, we staying here? We go? You see? Yeah, I felt like he was thinking about it for a second.
Yeah, so he's going for Halmasaur, making the Ped investment. And I mean, this is guaranteed to.
There's 2 items because it's Ped and it's the item on the boss.
Yeah. Item on boss and Ambrosia. I mean, in a normal state, you'd be counting anyways, so you'd know, but you knew going in that the Halmasaur is going to have something.
So I guess that leaves Hera Basement and Ice Rod Cave for our lamp. I don't know that there's anything else. Wait, no, those slippers were behind the fire rod, so it could actually be in Swamp Palace.
Yes. Oh yeah, Teto's done Aga Tower, so yeah, I kind of forgot that factors into who's leading. I think Teto's probably ahead. Unless...
Yeah, if Ped is a thing, then P-Train's ahead, but yeah, if not, Teto having already done Aga Tower puts him a little bit in the lead.
Yeah, I'm not sure Teto commits to Halmasaur here, having gotten this.
No, I think
he has a good enough reason to.
Yeah, I think he's just. I would, if I were him, having not already done Desert, I think you just leave with the flippers and go check out Swamp Palace.
Yeah, like for him, it's like, it's one item because Ambrosia, but like it's just because Ambrosia. You already knew that was going to be there, and then it's a non-green pendant, so that's not that attractive.
We could just have the classic mitts on left side swamp or something dumb like that.
Yeah, I mean, at least this is for Teto. This is the left side swamp that you. Teto. It actually looks like he was trying to set up a death warp there, like one of those deaths you try to preemptively set up when you're like saving the portal on Laser Bridge.
Oh
my god,
baby, gloves on, Helmasaur. Okay, so now if you're P-Train, you just go to Ice Palace, right?
That's crazy. Okay, so yeah, the desert play ended up helping P-Train indirectly, despite not actually having anything much of value in it.
I mean, he's still got Ped to pull, but yeah, I don't think you worry about that right now. At this point, it could only be Flute or Medallion.
Good lord. Okay. Yeah, I was about to say that, like, with how much flippers are implicated here, you just do left side if it's got items.
Yeah.
It's clearly the important thing the game wants you to do right now. But I mean, actually, it wants you to come here to get Lamp, probably to go back to Pod to
Yep.
beat Helma for the mitts. That's
Yep.
what it actually
Yep.
seems to want.
That's probably what's going on here.
This is
Early
so...
big key is nice.
Oh my goodness. This is so good for P-Train because, like, he can just go get the boots here. Teto is gonna be stuck not having boots until he makes an Alphasaur play. I don't know what he's gonna do that. Like, he might even go back to Hero Basement first.
Yeah, he probably does Desert before that, so he gets his silver, so that's something. But yeah, it's gonna be a while. I mean, it is mitts though. Like, the thing about mitts is they block so much that you're gonna get gated to them relatively quickly. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff you would still need to do. You're still gonna be doing before that.
It's insane though. Like both of their decisions made so much sense for the situations they were in. It's just
yes, they really did.
One is correct and one isn't.
I mean, that's how these things go sometimes, right? Is this
Yeah,
gonna be
it really
boots right
is.
away? Yeah, he needed boots.
I think the boots.
P-Train is, you know, I kind of like this. P-Train says, you know what? I can just come back here with the cane. Let's just do that.
I think the boots were in that chest in the mat match that I was talking about earlier as well. With it was the Ambrosia with hinted boots in Ice Palace.
Yeah, I've definitely seen that before. So P-Train says,
actually,
you know what? Yeah, let me go get my cane. I can make this better.
It's honestly so funny to see that play made bailing
There's
after
your
the first
lamp.
chest in ice when it's a crystal dungeon. Like, how often do you see that?
Okay, Teto does find his lamp, so you're right. It was go get your lamp, go get your flippers in Pod behind the fire rod to go back to Swamp to go get your lamp, to go get your mitts over at Pod. P-Train also going to be doing this with just the fire rod, but again, you don't wait on a lamp to do Aga if you know the item is something you want.
Yeah, he gets to do this with boots, which is nice.
Yep.
That's yeah, it's like one of the things that we didn't like as much about Teto's play doing this earlier. Ari in chat pointed this out before when Teto was doing Agatara, so that he would have liked to play more if Teto hadn't already checked the pyramid. That would have made that would have like mitigated the downsides of it. You get a free pyramid walk out of it.
So I find Agatara is pretty interesting because the easy rooms in this dungeon or in this tower or whatever are the ones that don't have the torches, and those are why this is not in logic with Fire Rod. But the two difficult rooms, those are the ones that do have the torches, and so yeah, doing this with Fire Rod is pretty easy. You just gotta know where those torches are.
It's like it's all right. I'm still kind of glad it's not in logic generally because.
Oh no, I wouldn't want to put it in logic. I'm actually in
There's-
general not a huge fan of some of the Fire Rod things being in logic. Not even so much because they're difficult, because for the most part they're not. It was kind of unnecessary, I felt like.
Nice quad ice rod kill on Argus from Teto.
Okay, he hasn't on the left side yet. I have not been paying enough attention to know if he's gotten map or compass.
Yeah, I wasn't paying any attention. I'm sorry.
Whether he did or not, he's not going back in. So what is this play here?
2 items on the left side, according to chat. That is.
Oh my, that's aggressive.
That is. Wait.
I'm a chronic
he
left
has
side.
Pyramid Fairy. Swamp gives him Pyramid Fairy. That's right.
Wow. Yeah, I'm a chronic left side skipper, and I think I would go back in this situation.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, like, so Pyramid Fairy is also behind the flippers here, so it's kind of I get it, but yeah, I don't know. So what's left that P-Train would still need to find? They need to find Flute. They might need other medallions. Like, do you think P-Train skips left side swamp when he's in there?
I think he's going to be in a better position to decide whether it's worth going back in. So if he's only looking, I mean, if he's, if by the time he gets to swamp, because I think you do Ice Palace here first,
right? That's probably
and then
not
you
a
maybe
question I can
even
really answer.
yeah,
Nice.
and maybe you even check Death Mountain. And do Dark Death Mountain with the myths, if nothing else, but to figure out what your medallion there is. Maybe even go into Turtle Rock before you go into Swamp, because as much as it sucks to have to go up the mountain an extra time, if you can go up to the mountain and do Turtle Rock right now, again, that's more information before you go into Swamp and have to make that decision.
I think we're hearing from chat that Teto's also a chronic left side swamp skipper.
Yeah, it's just, I always talk about the location. It'll get you either way. It'll get you for having something. It'll get you for not having something.
Yeah.
There's no right or wrong decision on it.
Yeah, not really. It's all context. It's just like, it's kind of like, it's like okay, how do you want to lose? Like,
yeah.
you don't really get to decide how you win races. I don't feel like you get to decide in what ways you're willing to lose them.
Oh, there's a flute. Okay, so now we check Meyer before we even go up
so
to
yeah,
Death
just
Mountain.
Put everything behind the boots. Yeah. So
that's crazy.
Teto's going to desert here, which actually I forgot this was still on the table for him. This makes sense because this is now like the bad out of the way play for him now that like his Pyramid Fairy swamp didn't pay out. And this is the situation for Teto where I feel like really scared that I see left side. But just like everything is behind the boots, which are behind the mitts.
So to answer chat, no, P-Train did not finish Ice because he knows where the Cane of Samaria is, and he figures since boots were the very first chest in Ice, he can just come back later with the Cane of Samaria and just do Icebreaker. I think if the boots had been deeper in Ice, I think you would just stay in at that point, but with it being that early, I really like the decision to leave and just get the cane and come back with it later. So now we're going to activate the flute, and then I think, you want to check your medallions, because he could be in go mode. You just don't know yet. You at least want to check the Meyer area.
Yeah, that's... Yeah, I mean, I was talking about left side swamp, because I was trying to figure out if Teto still had outs, if, like, P-Train gets to swamp, and he doesn't do left side. And there's like Ether Medallion there or something that it turns out to be required. And I mean, like we've only got one medallion. The chances are fairly low that it's not going to be the only one needed with both Fire and TR Crystal Dungeons. It is higher than what's it? I guess 1 in 9.
Okay, yeah, we do need Ether at the very least. So knowing that we need Ether, I figure P-Train probably goes back into Ice Palace. At the very least, finishes that off and maybe goes and checks Dark Death Mountain. Oh, powder! There's a fetch quest. At least it's the good item. Has other nice uses.
So, like the chance of having double Bombos or double whatever medallion is not really terrible because there's a good chance that unnecessary medallions there just in GT.
Right.
And that's why you've got the medallions that you have. But we do need ether today.
So are we checking the mountain, or are we going to go into ice? Yeah. Okay, he's going to check the mountain.
Is Bobbos gonna have been useful at all, I wonder?
Changes his mind.
Wait.
It's going to be a... Yeah, I think this is the ped check. I kind of don't... Yeah, I don't know that you need to do this right now, but I mean, you did clear 3 pendant dungeons. So you might want to know what's here.
Yeah, I suppose. But yeah, he's at the point where it's like the fact he did desert are like hugely disadvantaged because like it's still possible for your opponent to god route this and have gotten Mets from Hell without desert.
You gonna read it?
No, there's red mail.
You could have grabbed the red mail. Not a terrible item, but
you
you
could
could
have.
have just grabbed it.
Yeah, I think everyone's disappointed to not see the blindfold.
Yeah. It's a little faster if you check with the book and if it's not the thing you need, but it's slower, obviously, if you check with the book and it is the thing you need.
I would have been pretty dang okay with getting red mail off the ped in this case, honestly.
Yeah, I would too. You just skip punk rocks. P-Train.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah. Must have gotten distracted by the flare. Because you definitely would have wanted to check this on your way to activating it.
Okay, so this can be... Are we going 1 or 8? We're going 1, okay. So if this is Bombos, I think you just do it. If it's ether, then you don't have to worry about finding the ether over here. You really just don't want it to be Quake at this point.
I think I would have done ice first. See if I could find ether in it, because with the icebreaker, you're probably full clear. Wait, no, hold on. We've only got 1 item left in ice. That's not
on the boss. Yeah, I kind of like. Yeah, I think ice first would have been fine, honestly.
Yeah, that's still pretty good. I think. Yeah, I would have done ice first, and then after, because ether might be nice. I might not have to really look for anything.
Teto going back up to Death Mountain, checking the ether tablet, maybe doing Hera Basement at this point. Double ether.
That's a good play for him at this point, honestly. Like,
yeah, I mean, if ether is here, I don't think
P-Train's
checking
going
this.
well for him. Oh yeah, that is a potential out for him.
Yeah, it absolutely is.
P-Train's pretty far ahead, so it's really not a given at all, even if it is here. But
and he's probably going to do Spike Cave after this, since I don't know where he picked up that cape, but he's got one. It must have been in Swamp Palace. So it actually does put it in logic, but with a fairy in a bottle and 11 hearts, that's more than enough to just do it without actually using up any of your magic if you want to save magic. 14 hearts is what you need to do it without anything, but the fairy revival actually gives you a little extra leeway, as it turns out. You can do it like on 7.
Yeah, because you've got some iframes off of the fairy revival as well.
Okay, now we're gonna get Ice Palace from P-Train.
There's a sword in Hera Basement.
Oh, jeez. I mean, that's nice. I mean, he's gonna have the sword advantage, and whether it's a tempered to gold or a master to tempered. Oh, ice rod caves.
I think he's just like playing super safe at this point. He doesn't want to lose to ether being somewhere dumb that he just skips that he could have easily done.
I mean, you don't want to lose to a Sphere 1 ether medallion.
P-Train definitely feels like he very likely has a large advantage here, but not large enough to be safe from stuff like this.
And it just got bigger because that was just 300 rupees in Spike Cave. So I think this is going to be you clear ice, you do swamp, and at this point, if it's not nice, are we down to left side for the ether? Oh, we have Smith Chain. Ooh.
Oh, it is double ether. Okay.
I mean, I think if you're P-Train, you go back in, because by the time he gets to that decision point, he's going to have that and Smith Chain to do. And, I mean, you could do Smith Chain and then, you know, go back into Swamp Palace if Smith's not the answer. I'm kind of
Right.
including the bat in the Smith Chain, because that's, you know, it's right there. If you have powder, you don't just do powder, you do, like, all the Smith stuff.
Yeah. Same bat location.
I don't think he hit the switch, so hopefully the big key is not hanging out at Ice Tea. With an
Yeah,
item.
this is a weird one because you're only looking for one item.
Yeah, I tend to not hit the switch in general, but I think in this case I would, because if you get the item, you don't want to have to worry about searching out the big key, but it won't matter. The big key's right there, so he's going to be fine. And Teto is going to go back to Helmasaur and going to get his mitts. I'm not sure he has much of anything left.
Yeah, Teto knows about Kane, but he has to get the myths off of Pendant to get boots. He knows the boots are nice, and he needs the boots for Lumberjack to get the Kane. Elbow is a big bottleneck, and
oh, there it is.
Just go mode is very. I was in the middle of a sentence. Yeah, Patreon benefited from it.
That's what go mode likes to happen, is when you're in the middle of like a really intelligent thought, and then all of a sudden there's your go mode ether medallion.
Okay, yeah, 1 hour 10-minute go mode. Yeah, Teto no longer really has any outs, unfortunately. Actually, let's see. Yeah, he's got Agatara done. He's got Swamp done actually.
Yeah, he's gonna hit.
This is still closer than I was thinking it was actually.
Yeah, I agree. That sword could make a difference depending on whether P-Train runs into another one. And we do have the situation here on P-Train's side, which is always. Did he fire that bombos too quick? That was weird.
Oh, did he?
I don't know. Yeah, maybe he was on ETH. Okay. Anyway, the interesting sidebar here is P-Train's probably not getting that lamp. The big key is in the first check in Swamp, and the lamp's in the big chest. And if P-Train doesn't find another sword, we're talking Master Sword. Well, it's Master Sword Silver, so not quite as bad. I was thinking in terms of that torch. Yeah, the silver is actually going to pay off much bigger than we expected if P-Train doesn't find a sword, because having to get a torch glitch with the fire rod and then do the Master Sword fight, not great. I don't think he has any magic in his bottles. He does have half magic, so it's not the super tight, one magic bar Master Sword Silverless with fire rod torch glitch, which means you have to get all triples. But yeah, I don't think he's gonna see that lamp, so he's gonna be at a slight disadvantage there. But again, he has those silvers, so it's gonna turn out really good that he picked those up.
Chat saying the sword beam might have canceled the bombos damage.
Oh, is that what happened?
Which is really that's really funny. The game can do stuff like that. Yeah, it's weird. Like when you hit an enemy with two things at kind of the same time, or within a certain window, you get like the properties of the first attack that hits, but the damage value of the second. So you can have weird stuff where like so like normally Igors are I think it's a lot on Igors with sword beams. Like normally sword beams don't do anything to them, they clank off them. They don't knock them back at all. But like if you're arrowing Igors, like let's say you're silvering Igors in the back of Eastern Palace and you accidentally sword beam one of them, if the sword beam hits after the arrow, it'll get knockback from it because it thinks it's getting hit by an arrow, but the sword beam does 0 damage to it. So, I see a lot of clips where people are just like, "What the heck happened? It's supposed to die to Silver's like hello game."
Okay, Teto was thinking about whether or not to leave with those boots. Does decide to do so. I think in his case, he's already healed Aga. Just go get your cane.
I think it's the kind of obvious decision to do in this case. Like, there's
Let's go check Ice Rod Cave first, though.
Okay, this is an interesting time to do it. And like, yeah, this makes a lot of sense because you don't know where the flute is going to be.
Okay, not quite the Godmire for P-Train, but the next best thing with the big key sitting there in the compass room. P-Train gonna have to do this room in the dark. I often, this one is, this dark room is probably the hardest one to learn. But once you know how to do it, it's not too bad. So Teto may gain a little bit of time in this dark room. Not going to gain any time in the Turtle Rock dark room because it's basically a equivalent of a Super Mario Bros. 3 side scroller. It's just auto scroller. I mean,
honestly, those are hard. That was not good.
Okay, this is good. Teto's going to get his flute. Well, now we're going to go through, see if Teto goes through the same process of finding out what his go mode is in terms of medallions, or if he just goes straight back to Ice Palace. If he goes straight back to Ice Palace, he's going to run into Ether, and that's all he needs. And at this point, I could legit see him gambling that Ether is all he needs and not checking Turtle Rock.
Yeah, there's some people in chat saying that leaving with the boots just so you can do Icebreaker is not actually faster. Like, the travel time back isn't worth it.
I mean, it's not something I've ever timed, so I don't know.
Yeah, it's not something I would have thought intuitively. I guess the runners would have... I mean, I would have done the same thing the runners did. But
yeah, same.
I can believe that it's slower, but it wouldn't have been my first thought. It is weird in this case because, like, again, we're only looking for one item in ice, and that one item could be anywhere. And if that item is on, like, the non-icebreaker path, which it is, then
probably faster to have kept going. But if you have to go all the way back up to the big key chest,
yeah,
we're gonna get Tato's ped check as well. He might actually. We'll see if he blind pulls it instead of checking it with the book. No, there's no chance P-Train does left side. We'll never know what's over there.
oh, that's Teto's
Oh, that was Blue Mail. Yeah, because Bombos. He never checked Bombos tablet.
Oh, that's where the other one was. Okay. Wait, he never checked Bombos tablet, and he made the desert play without doing that.
Yeah, he just walked straight to desert. Didn't do Bombos on the way like P-Train did.
Okay. He must. Okay, I guess that kind of makes sense because in Teto's position, he felt he wasn't doing very well in the seed at that point. He probably just wanted to go straight to desert because, like, Bombos is not as bad of a check as desert would have been. He wanted to make the bad check play so that he could try to get back into the race.
Let's see if P-Train checks anything on this path. Usually what you'll see runners do is they'll check the 2 diver down chests and the waterfall chest if they're going to check anything. P-Train with only a Master Sword might be incentivized to do some of those checks. Again, is going to miss that lamp because that big key was sitting there in that first check and lamp sitting there in the big chest.
Yeah, diver down would be good checks. I have seen some people not check the waterfall here because if you've got boots, it saves quite a bit of time still to just dash through the whole room and not have to stop and push the block and stuff. Like, it seems really on path, but it's kind of deceptive how much time you lose to doing that check if you have boots.
And I think looking for, I think with the sword situation, I'd probably check that. Just
Yeah, I think it's like not, having tempered and no silvers that like people concede that chest.
yeah, that makes a lot more sense. 'Cause I mean, the question sometimes comes up: which would you rather have, tempered silverless or master sword silvers? And I'd take tempered silverless every time.
Yeah, it's certainly faster and easier.
Oh, Teto doing, I mean, doing the powder. I guess he's not going to do the rest of the Smith chain with this.
I don't really like doing this by itself. I don't
No,
remember
I
where
don't either.
powder was though. Maybe it was somewhere important.
Um,
Like if powder was in a really bad spot, this makes sense, I suppose.
was it in the Mire area?
Maybe? Might oh wait, oh yeah, maybe. Yeah, that's
Mire
not
shed,
really
okay.
bad. Yeah, Lamp is in so P-Train's go voting before getting to Swamp Palace. Lamp's in Swamp Big Chest, which is just not something you're gonna get when you're go voting.
Yeah, that first chest in Swamp, in a non-Kisani mode Swamp, is pretty far out of the way, actually.
Yeah, it's like there's nothing that you would really reasonably want to check. I mean, maybe like if you're on Master Sword Silver list, I could see maybe doing that chest.
Yeah, yeah.
But in general, the things that are before the big chest are slow, so you're probably not going to get a big key. Yeah, I'm also surprised Teto isn't going to ice at this point.
Yeah, me too.
Even if even if Go Mode Ethers, like I guess he wants Go Mode Ether to be on the mountain here and then not have to clear any of ice, but that's not really going to save time, anyways.
Yeah, he's basically doing the same path as P-Train did, looking for medallions in the medallion situation and trying to clarify that. P-Train, you know, had to feel pretty good having killed Helmasaur when you did. Maybe felt like he had the extra time to spare to do those checks. But Teto, I believe, last location those myths on Helmasaur. So at that point, I'd be looking for things to cut, and I would go straight to Ice Palace. And then I would go do Mire, and then hope that Turtle Rock was Bombos or Ether at that point, and hope it's not Quake.
I think he didn't do left side swamp, but that might have been it.
Right, yeah, that's right. He didn't do left side stomp. We definitely did not see that. But yeah, if he'd gone straight to Ice Palace, I understand the Mire area. I kind of liked the check. It kind of gives you an idea of what your situation is. But at that point, you're really only in trouble with Turtle Rock if it's Quake. You've got Bombos, and you're looking for Ether.
I just think ice is free enough that you should have done it already.
Yeah, absolutely.
Look at us sitting here criticizing these top 16 runners over here.
I mean, that's what we do at comms, you know?
So yeah, P-Train, if he wins this, is going to sweep this match. Moving on to quarterfinals against... let me double check. Is it against... No, Andy Wallkicks is going into area, or is P-Train going into...
And of course, Turtle Rock, not really a great go mode dungeon.
That's fine. Oh, that was the wrong tournament. Oops. I loaded the wrong challenge. Yeah, okay. I don't remember what pairing they're gonna be facing after this?
See if I can find it. Oh, it'll be the Shoulder Mule Charm winner.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that is. I don't think I've played any of those 3
Yeah,
games yet.
I don't think that's started yet.
They're pretty recently on the schedule. Yeah, so yeah, Friday at 1 o'clock is the first game of Mugglecharm versus Schulzer. The winner of this match will face.
There is Ether for Teto, so he is now in go mode.
Yeah, go mode 124, so that's a 14-minute difference. He's got an extra sword up, but
Sword's not going to make up that much time. Even my Master Sword Ganon fights are not bad enough to make up that much time.
I mean, he's finished swamp first, so that is not really part of the gap between.
Yeah,
them,
that's true.
But
That's true. So it's a little bit less.
He's still
that,
probably like 10 minutes behind.
Mm-hmm. Should have a very easy cold stare here. Nice, gets the puffs in the corner, keeps him there pretty reasonably long. So pretty good finish to that.
Yeah, so P-Train, having done the Desert Green Pendant play earlier for not really much else besides silvers, got him towards Pendant Helmasaur earlier, making the ped play, and Pendant Helmet itself had mitts, and that just turned the whole race, basically.
Yeah, those silvers are going to turn out to be not insignificant, since he's good chance he's going to land up on that Master Sword. I mean, there's still GT. GT likes to have swords, but you can't count on that at this point. I mean, there's always the joke, always a sword in swamp. Well, there's two items in on left side we haven't seen, so that could also be the case.
I think Teto could have hit a route, like once Teto got mitts, he could have hit a route where he kept it within like 4 or 5 minutes, but didn't end up doing that. So I mean, you're feeling really bad at that point. Like Teto would have been feeling much worse than P-Train when getting the mitts. So
oh, Laser Bridge had a sword. There you go. So not even the sword advantage anymore.
Yeah, that can just happen.
Yeah, when the small key being the last chest on Laser Bridge allowed him to. I basically forced him to check all of them. So P-Train probably pretty happy he's not a let's start from the back Laser Bridge checker.
Yeah, this is kind of why I don't hold my breath too much if I'm relying on myself having a sword advantage into late game. And I also that's also why I don't try super hard to look for extra swords.
If I had your Master Sword Ganon fight, I'd be the same. And these guys these guys are well practiced in those fights as well. So
yeah, sword advantage is just one of those really weird things. Like it can be really suspenseful for a reason. It could just go away in an instant.
Yeah. Oh, we've seen like the Moldorm 2 chest be somebody's tempered sword, and you're building up the other players maybe a little behind. They've got a tempered, and the player that's ahead has the Master Sword, and all of a sudden you got all of a sudden the player in the lead just picks up that tempered sword in that last chest, and it's like, oh well, okay.
Teto.
Oh, I hate when that happens. I do that sometimes too.
It usually happens when you're oh, he skipped the Bari key. That's why. Yeah, like if you're Bari room with the key and the switch, like if that goes non-standardly, sometimes you forget to hit it.
Right. I see those numbers in chat. We'll see what where that big key is. Okay, P-Train, what route are you taking today? We're gonna go to the left, so probably gonna do this Dark Magician strats here. Blue cane we don't care about. There's a shovel. Nice. This good place for the shovel in GT.
Yeah. Like to see it. I think that was that a backup spooky from Teto? Looks like his room kind of went awry there, but he fixed it. Oh, this is double hope room key. I don't see that too often anymore. Oh, nice cane dash for the block to hit the switch, and then doesn't get in the correct direction the second
There's
time.
Quake.
I said double ether means Bombos was not needed for anything.
Yeah, it's 11 checks.
Is this Wayne route?
I think so.
I think that's like making sure you don't get burned on any of the front stuff.
Yeah. It's what a lot of people refer to as Dark Magician, but Dark Magician technically is when you go to the right side, you continue all the way on the right side. And you don't see that very often. Very few people will do that.
It's
Typically,
like,
if I see someone continue all the way on the right side like that, it's because they forget they don't have mirror. But, you know, we had to do Swamp Pal, so we absolutely have a mirror.
usually people forget they don't have it.
It'll be 14, 15, 16, and 17, I do believe.
Okay.
I'm bad at counting, so. All right, so we're gonna have to go. Assuming it's not tile room, we're gonna have to go kill the ice armos. Of course, we're not gonna do tile room before ice armos anyway, so we're gonna kill them regardless.
I think that might have been 15 through 18 because we've got. Oh wait, no, never mind. You were right. 17, 18's Bob's chest, and then 19 to 21 is ice armors.
Nice compass. The way the sprite slid there was pretty funny.
that was a neat Silver's ice armor strat.
Oh, it's tile room. Sadly, even if Teto were to gamble on tile room, not gonna be enough here. Featuring gonna speed this up with the boomerang. Sometimes you'll see runners put a Samaria block in to absorb the tiles here.
Yeah, Samaria block lags a lot more, I think.
That wouldn't surprise me.
I'm not sure, but like, it'll like definitely start lagging if you can move diagonally.
There is the big key. So number 22.
Also, he got a lot of lag at the end holding the sword out. The chest shows up when when there are no enemies left in the room. So you want to hit the last tile early to get that to happen earlier, and you don't want to have the Wallmaster spawn at that time as well.
Yeah, Slowdown's gonna be pretty good for P-Train with the Tempered Sword, with the silvers, blue mail. I think he's got a fairy and a red. So no magic refill, but with half magic, shouldn't need it.
Oh, that silver sucks when it misses. I mean, this is kind of, I think, why people switch to normal arrows for this room, but yeah, if you have a silver miss, it just lags the game a lot.
On to land mode 2. Always nice to have silvers for this. Very nice silvers land mode 2 from P-Train. And we'll see if Teto gets that gold sword or if he routes this from the back. It's actually kind of the last thing he'd want to find here, because, you know, you're probably thinking, oh, hey, I got this tempered sword at Hera Basement. Hopefully it gives me some sort of advantage. And, of course, then you see gold sword, and you just figure, based on the key layout here, your opponent's probably picking that up.
Yeah, it's not a good feeling. One of your like big maybe outs in Hera Basement. Could be thinking that way about silvers as well, but silvers is like almost sort of lead to you getting the bets. So maybe not.
All right, time for the Aga 2 fight. Like a double there.
I think that was a triple.
You think it was a triple? Sometimes it's really hard to tell.
I think one of those like weirdly angled ones hit.
Yeah, you're right. It was a triple. So 3-2-1, very nicely done. Couldn't have gotten anything better with the blue ball in the second round. So
yeah, that's a really good triple to get. It's like that one isn't free at all.
So yeah, P-Train's going to enter the Ganon fight at about the same time the Teto enters GT. Very nice start to this fight. Already in phase 3. Right, in phase 4 now. We don't care about Torch Clutch here. Looks like he's going to get the triple here to finish it off. Not quite. There we go. That's the final hit. P-Train going to close this out, winning this series 2-0, winning this game. Going to finish this out with an official race time of 1:39:16. GG's to P-Train. And Tato's had enough, so he's going to go ahead and call it here. And hopefully we can get them both in for interviews.
Hello.
Hello. GG's P-Train.
Thank you.
So that was an interesting seed. We also have Teto here. GG's to you, Teto.
Hey, GG's P-Train.
GG, Teto.
So yeah, the of course, I mean it was the myths. Like you probably already talked about it in the race room. I know that's often what happens, but Teto's looking really good, and then all of a sudden, P-Train, you had incentive to finish out Pod, having already done Desert.
Yeah,
and
it
then
was being up a game really helped me this seed because I went to the mountain. I was like, you know what? Let's do Hera. You know what? Let's see if Desert is boot slot, because if it isn't, then Pedestal's like definitely in play with the lamp.
right.
And then you go to Pod, and at that point, I mentioned in race room, I actually felt a little bullied. I wanted to skip Helma after finding flippers, but I felt so invested having already
Yeah.
2 minutes.
Yep.
I did it, and then after finding mitts on Helma, I thought that was well worth the cost of, an empty Hera and an empty Desert.
Yeah, and, I mean, you got silvers, which for a little bit might have turned out to be significant because you were looking at Master Sword silvers instead of Master Sword silverless. But then you found the Tempered Sword on Laser Bridge, and that wouldn't have been too much of an issue.
Yeah, I had so much of a problem in the seed with going Dark World early on. I mean, I never died, so that's a plus. But after going South Shore and be like, oh, of course, there's the mirror, of course, that's the Fireward, so what to do now? I expected to P-Train either went Dark World pretty early on as well, or he just went Light World, clearing up Eastern, and maybe going up Palace of Darkness, or checking the pedestal, see there's nothing on it, and try to skip maybe Helma. So it's like I have to play Helma and just skip all those missing items. There were so many skip things, see it, which could have burned me even more than only Helma. So in the end, I had to hope P-Train is going to last locate with a full clear swamp and everything else. But it's a pretty strong call to go into the dungeon and be like, oh yeah, let's clear up Helma. So yeah, absolutely great fight at this game.
Yeah, I mean, in your case, it made sense for you to leave with the flippers. You hadn't done Desert. You'd already done Aga at that point. Yeah, that the nice Canis Maria.
Yeah, I tend to play a little bit more aggressive against P-Train. I even skipped left side swamp and be like, oh please, in the next 5 checks, let the mids be there, and it's going to be fine. And after all those nothingness you just found in Desert and the Wet Bomb, it's like, so, oh, you screwed up hard, so let's hope P-Train went a little bit more aggressive as well, and we will see what happens.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, you both made the same
play. The one aggressive play I did was skipping the Hera basement.
Yeah.
I didn't do that.
Yeah, that was a sword.
I think I was relatively conservative. Oh, no, of course it was. Except about the one in Turtle Rock.
Yeah, you got the one in Turtle Rock.
I had to come back there with a Bocalade and with a cape. It's like, so, oh, you got 3 more checks, and Spy Cave, knowing that this could be a skip, so yeah, let's play this.
Yeah, I mean, because you having left Helmasaur, it's really hard to want to go back to that right away. And I think the only thing you didn't end up doing before it was the left side swamp, going back in for left side swamp.
Oh,
so.
it was Iceward Cave left over. I
right. You both left that for really late.
I missed the tablet while going up Desert. I never went K45 because thanks.
Right, yeah, some of those mirror checks.
Yeah, those were so oof.
Yeah, I
And
kind of like skipping those mirror checks when you get, when you have that mini Moldorm cave and you see it there and you're like, okay, so my opponent had this, 10
Yes.
minutes in. So hopefully it leads to nothing other than Swamp Palace.
yeah, it was one of those skips, like, yeah, call it a game if there's something important. It would be boring
Mhm.
to watch if one player finished it with 110, 150, and the other
Mhm.
one's not even in go mode while the other finishes off. But yeah,
So it was interesting that you both, and there was discussion in chat as to whether this was actually faster or not, was when you both found the boots in the very first Just Ice Palace and both left. We kind of figured that whether or not that's fast or not depends on the key layout. In this case, the key layout I think would have been fine because you wouldn't have had to go to the right side. That the ether medallion just sitting there on path. But if it's you're going all the way back up to like big key chest or something to find your second item, then yeah, I would definitely think leaving and coming, knowing where the cane is, right? Knowing you can just go get it because you've got boots now.
yeah, at this point I was like, let's go more aggressive and just go mode Ice Palace later on with the flute. So after getting the flute, I made the mistakes. I didn't go back right in the instance. I checked a little bit more of those mid checks. And the early game, I never did race game. Whoops, one of those other oopsies. so I had to, like, you have to check library and race game, right? I mean, the medallion doesn't open up anything at all, but knowing there is one medallion could be crucial at this point. So yeah.
Yeah, it would have been a little better for me if I had gone straight back to ice. But after
Yeah.
finding the flute in King's Tomb, I very well could have been in go mode.
Right.
So I really wanted information. Even if I had the medallion for Meyer, I was just gonna blow through. I was just gonna check the Meyer medallion and bolt. I saw that it was ether, so I went ahead and checked the Meyer overworld. Wanted to go to Turtle Rock. Kind of remembered that I had 3 pendants, so if Turtle Rock is Quake and that's like on pedestal, I'm gonna feel a little silly climbing the mountains. Let's go do pedestal, and
And then you
also
can
I
even
forgot
grab
about
the
Bonk
red mail.
Rocks.
Yeah,
Oh
the
no,
bonk rocks
I
is
didn't think I needed it. But yeah, then I go up to Turtle Rock and Ether's like the only medallion we need. So let's do all of Dark Death Mountain, and
Yeah.
I think at that point I finally go back to Ice and get my go mode, and I was like, oh, well, if I just stayed at Ice,
Yeah.
like I probably could have saved actually a lot more time than going to get the cane.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, the biggest mistake in Ice was like, so okay, you only need one item inside Ice Palace and just rush the boss. So there's no reason at all to delay it even more. So I did the same, but I think the most, maybe the best play would have been just clearing up Ice Palace, because there's a high chance you don't have to do Ice Tea, so it's nearly the same of a go mode Ice Palace today.
Yep.
And with the medallion lying inside it, we both wasted another 2 or 3 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah, because not only was the item pretty much on path, even if just doing the Ice Palace bomb jump. Because people always talk about how much time Icebreaker saves, but it only saves time in like a non-go mode situation. And in Ambrosia, you've got your 2 items, you get them right away. You're never going back to that right side. So, but on the other hand, you didn't know that was going to be the case. So I mean, it's also reasonable to leave because you know where the cane is. So certainly that temptation's got to be there. Okay. Well, we do have another race starting up in a little, just in about a couple minutes. Actually, it'd be 12 minutes because there's delay on that one too. But anything else? Oh, Teto, let's acknowledge that round of 16, really good showing in this tournament. Unfortunately, that's going to be it for you. Anything you want to say before your tournament ends?
Yeah, thanks for having me up those far in the tournament. It's like so many up and downs against pretty strong player. Met another few friendly player on the way, which I really respect at this point. Like, it's the randomizer scene. It's so kind and so friendly. It's fun playing here because knowing that there's so much respect going on with the player in the background. So a big thanks and shout out to all people who participate in the main tournament. And reaching the top 16 at this point, it's maybe one of my biggest achievements in playing competitive, and might be for all time one of my biggest achievements. And knowing that I'm not a bad player and Randomizer is still a game of chances at some point, and we are really close together all together. So making the brackets is even a little bit of a gamble of being like might be reach the brackets or not, you can easily drop out in the early game in the groups, or even after this, every best of 3 match is a nail biter, and losing against P-Train is nothing concerns me. He's a great dude.
And P-Train, yeah. And thank you for putting on a great tournament. P-Train, you get to move on against either Shoals or Moogle Charm. If you could, we're running out of time, but want to give you a chance to talk about that.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Of course, both the runners, both Moogle Charm and Schultz are really good runners. So, whoever wins that, definitely biting my nails at the next matchup. But to be honest, I was biting my nails about this matchup.
For sure.
Teto is a good runner. So, maybe, as he's mentioning, this may be his best tournament performance. But I don't know, because Rando's a game of chance. Not everyone can make it to top 4. So you have a lot of these really good runners that may not have the tournament record to show it, but I know that Tito's a really good runner. So yeah, this is a series that I'm proud of to walk away with the win. And GG's Tito, it was an honor to race you. Really enjoyed the series, and I wish you best in the rest of your competition. And I'm looking forward to the next matchup, whoever it is.
All right, yeah, thank you guys, and good luck to you, P-Train, moving on. That's going to do it for us. I'd like to thank everybody involved. Our runners, of course, go ahead and click on those links and give them a follow. My co-com Asger, my tracker Derek. Our tracker's always the MVPs of our tournaments. Can't do it without him. Next races won't be till tomorrow. We have GFE versus Vortex of Doom. Doesn't have a channel yet, but I guarantee you it's going to get a channel. Chimo versus Zero Rush. That one is at 2:40. At 8:10, we have Chimo versus Zero Rush on SpeedGaming 4. At 8:40, we have Wall Kicks versus Andy. That's on the main channel. So keep an eye on that schedule, and that's going to do it. Stay tuned for some Super Metroid Randomizer tournament action, and we'll see you all next time.